What is up, everybody? This is Steve DeBreach coming to you here today. We are driving home after a good day of work on a Tuesday. Nothing really to report. Just a pretty damn good day. Last night, Monday Night Raw, we had Gunther come face to face with Jey Uso. Earlier in the night, we had saw Jey Uso get talked to from Adam Pearce in the back, and Jey Uso just basically said, like, hey, if that's what it's gonna be, that's what it's gonna be. And when Jey Uso was down in the ring, Gunther came down, and the first thing he did was tell Jey to his face, why didn't you tell everybody about the arrangement that we have? And the arrangement that was made is that Gunther is not going to get the first shot at the World Heavyweight Championship, but he is due a rematch, and he will be granted that rematch the night after Money in the Bank on Monday Night Raw. He will fight the winner of Jey Uso against Logan Paul. Logan Paul, I made a statement the other day. I think he might be my new favorite wrestler in WWE. He's one of my favorite guys to root for, that I feel like isn't like a marquee guy. If you go back to like 2010, 2011, I was like the Jack Swagger fan on YouTube. I really loved his matches. I liked his style. When he won the World Heavyweight Championship the night after WrestleMania 26 on SmackDown, I went bananas. I thought that was just really freaking cool. The rest of the time in WWE, Jack Swagger's career didn't really go the way that I thought it was going to. But I think Logan Paul is a guy that is only on the ascension in WWE. When it comes to this video, I'm going to lay it out on the line and basically say Jey Uso is going to win the match at Saturday night's main event. I think that we are going to get a WrestleMania rematch. It is going to be Jey Uso defending his championship against Gunther. And this sort of goes into the long-term planning that WWE is now kind of doing. If you remember when Rhea Ripley accidentally attacked Io Sky, she said, Io, I respect you. I'm going to give you a championship shot the night after the Elimination Chamber. Basically, when we would already know who is going to be challenging for the Women's Championship the night before at the Chamber. Now we're going to have to wait until Raw to find who is going to be the champion. And that match ended up being huge when it came to what the World Heavyweight Championship women's match would be at WrestleMania 41. Bianca Belair ends up winning the Chamber. Then we have Bianca coming out on Monday Night Raw, distracting Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky gets the win. We're supposed to be having a Bianca Belair versus Io Sky singles match for the championship, but because of so much outside shenanigans from Rhea Ripley, she is finally added to the match, and we had a three-way, and it was one of the best women's matches that I think has ever been on the WrestleMania card. So the fact that they have named Gunther a #1 contender for a match, I think it's June 9th. I think Money in the Bank is the 7th. I don't have the calendar here with me. But it is in the early part of June. They have to have a plan for something that I think would be big going on. Gunther, he's been getting a lot of you tapped out chants on Monday Night Raw, no matter where the city is. I think they're trying to tear him down. Jey Uso has had a really good run with the belt, but him coming out last night to support CM Punk honestly could be the end of his WWE Championship run. My initial thoughts on what I thought was going to be going down in the foreseeable future is I immediately said, well, shoot, I guess Logan Paul isn't going to be winning the championship at Saturday night's main event. But then I started thinking that somebody will be having a Money in the Bank briefcase. And maybe one of the main storylines going into the summer is going to be somebody cashing in on this edition of Monday Night Raw. Sometimes they like to have the Money in the Bank sort of cook for a good while. Tiffany Stratton held that Money in the Bank briefcase. It seemed like forever before finally cashing in on Tiffany Stratton can't cash in on herself, idiot. Nia Jax. But if you go back, didn't Drew McIntyre, didn't he cash in the Money in the Bank the same night that he won it at Money in the Bank? Because he was so just run with wanting to be the champion, wanting to be the main guy in WWE, and he wasn't able to get the job done. But I started to think, well, maybe Logan Paul, because of the fact he doesn't win at Saturday night's main event, he gets added to the Money in the Bank. And what if he cashes in and is able to overcome both Jey Uso and Gunther at the same time? Because basically Gunther gets told he's the number one contender of who wins this match, comes right out, calls out Jey Uso, and we have a standoff between the two of them. And Logan Paul, who was advertised as who Jey Uso was coming out to basically talk about, doesn't even he's not even brought up in the whole situation. It's almost like he's kind of forgotten about. Maybe that's what he wants, so he can do like another sneak attack and he can knock out Jey Uso for a third time. Because he's caught sleeping, trying to be like a fan favorite guy, and he's not, thinking about being the champion and keeping his championship belt. I would love to see some sort of interaction between Logan Paul and Jey Uso. But the one thing that came to my mind during my work day today was I was so sure that Sami Zayn was going to be turning on this group of CM Punk and Jey Uso. I mean, even on Monday Night Raw last night, they basically hinted that Sami Zayn was scared that CM Punk was going to turn on him because they didn't really know each other that well. They didn't trust each other. They've never really worked together like this. But they took the match against Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. What if Sami Zayn goes on to win the Money in the Bank, and then during this match, or even after the match is over, chooses to cash in against Jey Uso or Gunther to become the World Heavyweight Champion? That way kind of causing friction between the two of them. He's just doing what he wants to do, on that Raw after WrestleMania. He came out, his promo was definitely, his plan is to be a champion in WWE. He was doing the Yeet celebration with Jey Uso, and he got distracted midway through the celebration, stopped in the middle of the ring, and just looked at Jey Uso yeeting up on the top rope. And there was so many people who thought the turn was going to happen then. This is definitely something that's going to be a long-term build. Maybe it might be just a long-term distraction to keep on having us look at Sami Zayn, and then the turn comes out of somewhere else where Punk turns on the both of them. But I don't know. I really like that idea. Sammy was so sure that he would be a champion in WWE. He could bring up the fact that he got left off of the WrestleMania 41 card. Joe Hendry, a guy that doesn't even work for the company, got picked to have a match against Randy Orton when, you know, he was there and he was willing and able. He didn't have a match on the card, but, you know, he brought his gear that night and nobody asked him to dance. You know, that's definitely a real good storyline that I think a lot of people could follow. I am not 100% sure that Sammy joins up with Braun and Seth Rollins. I don't know. I debate. I'm wishy-washy on which direction that goes. I think he would kind of be the lone wolf. I don't think they need a third man in that group. Especially, it wouldn't make sense with Sammy being the champion, because I don't really know how that fits into Paul Heyman's plan in all of this. And I think that he is the one sort of massaging this situation, and then Seth would have to come up with some sort of dream situation of turning on Sammy in a spot that he would lose the title to somebody that Seth could win it from. But, you know, when I think about, you know, Braun and Seth, I really think that, you know, they want to be champion. They want to be the top dog. They've talked a lot about wanting to be like the rulers of Monday Night Raw. They want to run destruction over the company. And maybe I don't really know quite why that is. Or maybe they just want it to do it. I feel like they would want to be champion. I feel that's why they're together. But them having another guy who would be World Heavyweight Champion, I love you, Sammy, not on the level of Seth Rollins, doesn't really make a lot of sense, especially being like a first-time champion in WWE. But, you know, that's kind of my dream situation on what they're doing with all of this. But it could just be they really want to build up Jey, and they're going to have him choke out Gunther again. But Gunther not really going into a feud, not really having a match, just sitting back since WrestleMania. He's not going after another, you know, sort of guy on the main event level. Just, hey, Jey has a match against Logan Paul. I'm going to fight the winner. And whatever happens is whatever happens, is kind of what he's got going on now.